It is honestly the best time ever to be a cozy gamer, as the last couple of months have been absolutely insane. Because not only did we just have Cozy Game of the Year a couple of months ago, Nintendo then released Cozy Game of the Year again just a couple of weeks ago. And the wild part is, things really aren't slowing down for the next couple of months. So today I'm going to take you through all of the upcoming releases for spring, and not only do we have some highly anticipated Cozy Game releases coming up, we also have, I think, a cozy game for every flavor of cozy gamer. There is honestly so much variety, so let's just get into it. Now, first up, we have a bit of cozy gaming news, and that is about the Wholesome Direct, which is returning once again at 12 p.m. Eastern on June 6th. And if you haven't heard of the Wholesome Direct before, this is basically a Nintendo Direct, but for just cozy games. And they've already said that it will be over an hour long. This is by far my favorite showcase of the year, and I can't wait to see what games are going to be announced. Speaking of cozy gaming news, we also got word that Tiny Bookshop is going to be coming out with a DLC. Now, so far, this page right here is really all the information that we have. So we just know that it's coming. There is potentially going to be some news at the Wholesome Direct about this if they are going to make an announcement. But hopefully we find out sometime soon, as I loved playing this and I'm so excited to dive back in. Next up, let's cover all of the upcoming games this spring, and buckle up because there are a lot of them. First up, we have probably one of my personal most anticipated releases of the year, and that is Coffee Talk Tokyo. Now, the Coffee Talk franchise is best described as being a talking simulator sort of game. But unlike the previous two games, this one is actually set in Tokyo, a city where the old and new coexist, and humans walk alongside yokai. And much like the other games, this will see you play as a barista in a late night cafe, where you get to know all about your customers and the world, simply through conversations over a cup of coffee. A cup of coffee which you have to make. And honestly, even though there have been a lot of cafe games out there, this mechanic is still one of my favorites, where not only the ingredients you pick, but also the order in which you use them make a difference to which drink that you brew. And once again, you'll be able to control your customer's fate with the coffee that you make for them. Only this time the game has a little bit of a twist, as not only will there be brand new customers, each with their own stories to uncover, but there's also the addition of ice-cold drinks and stencils as well. And if you somehow have never stumbled into the Coffee Talk franchise until now, then this will be the perfect place to start, as even though there are customers and regulars from other games that you might recognize, you don't need to have played them to enjoy this game. And thankfully, we don't have very long to wait, as this is coming out May 21st on Nintendo Switch. Before we get on to our next game, I just want to thank today's sponsor, Charlotte Tilbury. Now, as you guys have probably guessed, I love makeup, and one of my favorite brands is Charlotte Tilbury, so this sponsorship is honestly a dream come true. So I'm going to go through my makeup routine and tell you some of my favorite products. First up, we have the Airbrush Flawless Finish Concealer. It's full coverage, but it doesn't feel like it, and it looks so pretty under the eyes. Now for blush, I have a new favorite, and this is Charlotte's Beauty Soulmates Face Palette in the shade Flawless Pink. Now this has a lighter pink, which I like to use to set under my eyes, and then a matte pink to use as a blush. And not only do I love the color, I also love the blurring effect of the powder. Now I love a good highlight, and this is the Glow Glide highlighter in the shade Moonlit Glow. I have used this a ton and it looks barely used, so this is gonna last ages. Now on my eyes, I have the Hypnotizing Pop Shot in the shade Pillow Talk. I love a good glitter eyeshadow, and this just looks stunning. Finish the face off with the Airbrush Flawless Finish Setting Spray. This is my holy grail, as it will make your makeup last, but also melt all those powders together. And then finishing us off is my favorite lip combo, and that is the Lip Cheat in the shade Iconic Nude, paired with the Kissing Satin Lipstick in the shade Pillow Talk Fair. And even while my lips are looking the worst, this lipstick seems to just save them. And as a Charlotte Tilbury Magic Beauty Star member, you can use my code down below to get a discount on your first order as well. So thank you to Charlotte Tilbury for sponsoring this video. Next up, we have Outbound, which is coming out on May 14th. Now this was actually set to release last month, but the developers very openly tweeted about how they found a bug in the game and needed to post the launch back a couple of weeks into May. But despite the fact that it's been delayed, I'm still cautiously excited about it. You see, this is an open world exploration game where you start with nothing more than just a camper van. And as you explore, you'll be able to collect resources and begin to craft different items that will aid you on your journey. Be it a garden to grow food, or even technology so you can get more power. And over time, you'll be able to create the home of your dreams, either with yourself or with friends as well. Now, when I played the demo, this was a real mix between it being an exploration style game, being able to drive wherever you want to go, but also being a salvaging and crafting like game, with every upgrade that you do needing to be crafted yourself. Now, I say I'm cautiously optimistic about this because even though I did enjoy the demo, there was definitely some performance issues on the Switch and the Switch 2 versions, but I am hopeful that this extra time might mean that the final game is a little bit more polished than the demo was. Then on May 21st, we have Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. Okay, this one I'm a little bit torn about because I will admit this game looks absolutely stunning, and I actually love the idea that this is a platformer with no enemies whatsoever, no health bar, and just platforming. But my worry isn't necessarily about how the game looks, it's more about how much game we're actually gonna get for our money, and for that we're just gonna have to wait until release. Now recently Nintendo did actually post an overview trailer, so we do now have a bit of a better idea about what this game actually is. Now, the beginning of the game involves Yoshi stumbling across a mysterious book called Mr. E. A book which is meant to be filled with a ton of unusual creatures, if it wasn't for the fact that Mr. E sort of forgot it all. So it's up to Yoshi to jump in and research all of the creatures themselves. But this isn't research in the conventional sense. Instead, this will involve you tasting the creatures, launching eggs at the creatures, and ground pounding them to see what happens. And all I want to point out is, as someone with a PhD in chemistry, this is not what all research is. Some, but not all. Now, it seems to be that every single level is you researching a different creature. And once you finish the level, you'll actually have the chance to name the creature for yourself. I think the thing I am really interested in is not only knowing how different each of the levels actually are to see if it feels repetitive, but also how long the game actually is. Because the thing is, I have absolutely nothing against a short game, but if the price tag is high on a short game, I need that experience to be absolutely fantastic in order to justify it. So we're gonna have to wait and see whether Yoshi and the Mysterious Book manages to make it worthwhile. Next up is Moonlight Peaks, which is coming July 7th. Now, this is a game that has been on my radar for the longest time, and I was so excited to see them announce that not only were they coming to the Nintendo Switch, but there was also going to be a Nintendo Switch 2 version as well. Now, if you haven't heard of Moonlight Peaks before, this is a farming sim where you actually play as a descendant of Dracula. So you are a vampire, and the town that you live in is actually filled with other fantastical creatures. And alongside you being able to farm some really unique vegetables and tending to some animals that I most definitely have never seen before, you can also use spells to help you with your farm and even transform into different creatures to aid you on your quests as well. And when you're not farming, you can fill your time decorating, exploring the town, and getting to know the locals. Now, as of right now, despite the fact that I am very excited, I haven't been able to find any footage of how this runs on the Switch or the Switch 2. But so long as this game is one that runs well, it is something I am incredibly excited for. Next up, we have Mixtape, which releases on May 7th. This is a game that follows three friends as they embark on their final adventure. And this is a game as much about its music as it is about its story. The game follows a group of friends as they head off to their final party together. But this is a journey all about reminiscing, as you get to live through all of the pivotal moments that shape shaped these three friends as they go. Seeing them do anything from exploring abandoned theme parks, hitting baseballs, to even putting on a fireworks show in the back of the car, essentially giving you the greatest hits of these teenagers' lives. I feel like this is going to be one of those games which is equally as fun as it is heartbreaking, and I'm so ready for it. Next up, we have Wonder Stop coming June 23rd. Now, even though we haven't had a Nintendo Direct in what feels like ages, that doesn't mean the Nintendo announcements haven't stopped coming. And one of the more recent announcements is the fact that Wonder Stop is coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, this is actually a game I've already played and loved on PC, so I'm so excited to see it come to the Switch 2, as this is a narrative game focused on both tea, but also change. Now, this follows the story of Eeowna, who was once a great fighter who can now no longer even lift up her sword. And now she's somehow found herself serving tea in a magical forest. The only issue is she doesn't want to be here, and she wants nothing more than for all of this to just be a distant memory in the past. But no matter how hard she tries, she just can't leave. Now, the thing that made this game special to me is not only a story that follows Eeowna overcoming burnout, but it's also all of this combined with the detailed tea brewing mechanics. You see, in order to brew the tea, you're actually going to have to grow a number of different plants, and this will involve you even needing to crossbreed them to get different fruits so you can access different tea flavors. The tea brewing also involves this really unique equipment that was a lot of fun to get to know and master. There is just one thing you need to know about this game, and that is that the tea brewing mechanics don't really have any consequences. You see, there's no time limit, there's no money, everything is kind of progressed forwards thanks to the story. So this means it's not really like a tea shop management game as such, you just get to brew different teas as you enjoy the story. And I will just say, whilst I do absolutely adore this game, it is one where you need to be in the right place to love it. But if you are, you're gonna have a great time. Now, in the same announcement where we heard that Wonder Stop was coming to the Switch 2, we also got the news that Stray was coming to the Switch 2 as well. Now, this is already out on the Nintendo Switch, but it is getting an upgraded version for the Switch 2, which I think is a good thing because the Switch version was okay, but it wasn't great. I will just give you a little bit of a warning about Stray, because when it first came out, everyone thought, oh wow, it's a cute, cozy cat game. It's not as cozy as it might sound at first. Just a little bit of a warning, the cat can and will get hurt at points during the gameplay, and the worse you are at the game, the more you're gonna see the cat get hurt. So it is a great game, but it needs a warning before I recommend it. Next up, we have Solarpunk, which is coming on June 8th. Now, this is a game I feel like I've had my eyes on for years, so the fact that it's coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 has got me really excited. Now, I played the demo for this a while ago, so I am really excited to see what's changed since then. But this is a survival game in a world of floating islands. And not only can you farm, craft, and explore, there is also a very big emphasis on the building. And the Steam page even shows some of the buildings that people made in the demos, and they look absolutely incredible. Now, one really big emphasis they have in this game is actually the energy system, where you'll be able to generate electricity for yourself using wind and solar power. And one really nice touch is the fact that the weather will actually affect how much energy you can produce. And you might need actually quite a lot of energy. You see, in Solarpunk, the emphasis is not only on survival, but also the exploration. So you'll actually be able to automate a lot of the different farming and life sim aspects, with there being bots that will be able to either water your plants or take care of your animals. Which means that you'll have more time to fly around in your airship and explore everything that this place has to offer. Now, obviously, one thing I'm really interested in is actually how this is going to run on the Switch 2, but I think the thing I really want to figure out is if this has stories or quests for you to do, or whether this is a game where you need to completely make up your own fun. As for games like this, I tend to feel a little bit lost if there's not at least a few quests to kind of give you a direction. Then on May 29th, we have My Little Puppy. Now, this is actually a game that has been out on Steam since November 2025, and it has overwhelmingly positive reviews. But do be warned, basically every single positive review I've seen has called this an emotional roller coaster that made them cry, which is honestly not surprising when you hear what this game is about. As the first line of this game's description is that there's a saying that when you depart from this world, the dog who went ahead will warmly welcome you. And honestly, that line alone might mean that this is a contender to make me cry more than Spiritfarer did, which will honestly be an accomplishment. The game follows a Welsh corgi who was once an abandoned dog. And being an 8-year-old senior dog, it's safe to say that he wasn't living his best life in the animal shelter. That was until one day when he met his new family, where he got to live out his remaining days like every dog should, playing tug of war, running around, eating and sleeping. And after living a great life, he crossed the Rainbow Bridge. And this is actually where the game begins. Because after he spent his best life in dog heaven, he suddenly catches the scent of his owner, and he embarks on a journey to meet his dad. And this is a journey where he'll get to learn the stories of both dogs and people he meets along the way. And whilst I am a lover of a feel-good cozy game, a lot of my all-time favourites have been cozy games that have actually made me cry some point along the way. And I feel like this game is going to be strangely healing. I just hope that this runs well on the Nintendo Switch. Next up, we have Dave the Diver DLC coming on June 18th. Now, I haven't played Dave the Diver in a hot second, but this seems to be the perfect time to come back to it, as not only does the game have a free Nintendo Switch 2 upgrade, but it's also getting a brand new DLC called Dave the Diver in the Jungle. Now, one thing to bear in mind is that you will only unlock the content of this DLC when you finish the base game. So there's no point buying this DLC until you've gotten to that point, because you won't be able to play it. But this will see you head off to, you guessed it, the jungle, where you'll be set to investigate a mysterious phenomenon happening in the village of Otara. And these waters will have a new ecosystem, new story missions, and new discoveries for you to find, with them saying that there's going to be around 10 hours of content for you to enjoy. I just love that this gives me a reason to log back into the game after all this time. Keeping the theme of DLC, 2 Point Museum is getting a brand new one on May 7th called Artifacts. Now, as you probably already know, I love 2 Point Museum. I have a lot of hours in it, although I do prefer the PC version to the Nintendo Switch 2 version. And this is introducing a brand new location called Undie Docks. Now, alongside there being a new location, there is also a brand new employee. And this is the art expert, who will be able to make works of art in their own art studio. It will also be their job to try and distinguish the real artworks that you find from the fakes. This new DLC will also be giving us new shop items, new themed cafe items, and new decoration items as well. I am curious to see how much gameplay this actually adds to the game, but we don't have long to wait and see. Another release I'm excited for is Thrifty Business, as this did get a release date, as it's coming out on the 18th of May, but it will be coming out on PC only as of right now. Now, it is worth mentioning that this is made by the same people who gave us Ritual of Raven and also Sticky Business, and both of those games did end up coming to the Nintendo Switch as well, so I am hopeful for Thrifty Business too. Now, this was a game where I got to play the demo and absolutely fell in love with it, as I think the whole concept for the game is absolutely fantastic. This lets you run your very own vintage thrift shop, seeing you do everything from sorting through boxes of pre-loved items to figure out which items you want to sell. You'll also be in charge of decorating the area as well, so you get to buy furniture to display each and every one of the items that you've already bought. And then once you've put everything out for your store, it's then your job to serve the customers and help them out when you need to. And as you progress through the game, you'll be able to unlock not only new decorations for the store, but you'll also even be able to expand the store so you can display even more thrifted items. But the thing to me that really stood out in the demo was actually the community aspect. You see, as the customers come in each and every day, you'll start to get to know the regulars. And as you learn all about them and their story, you'll be able to figure out ways that you can actually help them out, and you'll even be able to host events for the community as you get to know them. As I said, I love the whole concept for this game, and I really hope it comes to the Switch sometime soon. Palia is also getting a huge update on May 12th, which is promising to give us a brand new and bigger than ever area, which they've called the Royal Highlands. And not only is this going to give us more story, we're also going to get new minerals, fish, insects, and creatures. And they've also said we'll not only be able to have our own ranch, but they'll also introduce horse mounts as well. Personally, I've sort of fallen off Palia a little bit in recent months. I think it's because there's just been so many incredible cozy games releasing, so I'm excited for this to maybe give me the chance to jump back in. The only thing I am begging them to do is to update the Switch version, because the game still runs pretty terribly on that, and there doesn't seem to be any news on a Switch 2 port anytime soon. So for the moment, I think I'm going to still play this on PC. That's it for all my upcoming games for spring, but if you're looking for some help with Pokopia or Tomodachi Life, these videos should help you out.